Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you to returning subscribers, and thank you to those of you who are yet to subscribe, because I want to believe you'll be clicking the subscribe button right now. Click subscribe and let's go straight into today's topic. As the heading says, the real truth about my pregnancy, my deepest struggles. I would give a brief history of what I experienced in pregnancies with my first and my second, and kind of go into details of what this has been for me right now. But anyone who knows me really well and who's been close to me would know that me and pregnancies are very good friends. We have a breeze. It's usually so easy for me. I never have the general symptoms you hear of, or the weird symptoms, whatever it is. I never had any of those. Never had morning sickness, never threw up, never had all the spitting up and down. It's just been super easy for me. And with my first child, I would say that I was a bit careful, because like what you hear about pregnancy generally is always made to be like you are carrying raw egg. And so that egg, any shaking, it can crack and everything will pour away and it's gone. So I did have fears with my first son, and I did not do as much as I thought. I did not do as much as I should have done. But with my second son, I think I'd gotten more confidence, I'd gotten more knowledge, I was better informed, and I knew that what you were doing prior to pregnancy, just a little modification needed, but you can continue. So with my first, I was still teaching dance in schools, but not so much. My second, oh man, I did so much. Throughout the week, I'm jumping from one school to the other. Weekends, I'm taking Zumba classes here and there. I'm going up and down, and even with that, it was such a breeze. I never had any complications. And so sometime last year, I started working on my dance fitness brand, my Super Ninja dance fitness brand. And the essence of the brand actually is kind of focusing on women's total well-being, wholeness. And as a lover of dance, and dance is my major form of expression, I started to work on creating dance workout routines that would help women lose weight, keep fit, burn calories, and all of that. And as I was building that, I look forward to getting pregnant again, so that I can do some dance workout routines that would specifically be for pregnancy. And all those ideas started coming to my mind, and I started to get so much inspiration. And that was also when it was towards the end of last year, I started thinking of, my Preggo Diaries, having a series online where I can talk about the so-called ideas about pregnancy, the things that are generally spoken to be surrounding pregnancy, especially in this part of the world. And so I looked forward to getting pregnant. And then this year, thunder, please, let me shoot this video. And then this year I took in, and I was like, oh yes, it was a bit earlier than I planned, but don't let me lie. But I was excited still, and I discussed a lot of things with my husband, that this is what I feel God would like me to do with this pregnancy. It's going to be different from the others. I'm going to be putting out a lot of content to debunk fears and myths and all of that surrounds pregnancy, especially in Nigeria. And he was all in for it, like, okay, that's very good. What do we need to do, and all of that. And so we had discussed that in the very initial phase of when I just found out I was pregnant. As a matter of fact, I even shot my Super Ninja Absolute Package videos 3 days after I realized I'd missed my period. I hadn't done a test, but I'd missed my period, and I suspected that obviously I'm pregnant, but I still did the video shoot. It was tough, but I did it. And then 2 weeks after then, my husband traveled. I think he went to Dubai for a conference, and I just noticed I was at home lying down, and I got up and I saw blood on the bed. I got scared, like, okay, what exactly is going on? And then I thought, should I call my husband, who is all the way in another country? He has to focus, and I decided not to call him. So I went to do a scan, and They assured me that the fetus was okay, but maybe there was some blood clots around the uterus or something, and all that blood needed to be shed. That I just need to take things easy, but that nothing was wrong with the fetus, and the pregnancy was good. So I came back, and I think I still bled for about 3 more days. It was a bit scary, but I had to control myself or hold myself back from calling my husband to tell him. And so he got back, and I told him, and he was like, "Wow, are you serious? What's the problem?" and all of that. They said nothing major. Now, I didn't realize that was just the beginning. After about maybe the following week, I started feeling extreme fatigue. I would be so tired. Like, all I would do all day was to sleep. At that point, I think I called all the schools where I was working to tell them that I would not be coming back, because quite frankly, I thought there was no way I could work if I was feeling like this. And a more deeper truth is that I'd been looking to quit that aspect of my career, which is teaching to little children in schools. So this happened to be the right opportunity, and I ended all those jobs. So I practically didn't have anything I was going out to do. But all I did was sleep, and sleep. I was always so tired. I always had terrible headaches. And these were things that I never experienced before. And I started wondering, what is going on? Why is it this pregnancy where that I can say I have gotten a vision of what to do in this season, yet it wasn't going on well with me? Now, I did see a little bit more bleeding again for about 2 more days. That's like maybe 2 weeks after that first time, but it stopped, and that was the absolute last time it happened. But I was so tired. Sometimes I felt lifeless. And I'm sure my husband would have been wondering, like, what is going on this time around? She don't born 2 pikin. I didn't see all this drama. And even me, I was not sure what was happening. But, when I speak with people, like, oh, this is what is going on, they just say, every pregnancy is different now. Shebi, you've been enjoying before. Now you understand. And what hurts me, or what it hurts me though, was the fact that I had this journal of all the inspiration that God had put inside of me, all the ideas and plans that God had put inside of me. I had that journal. I would look at it, but I'll be lying down on the bed there, not able to stand up to do anything. And it did take me a while to realize that, this is actually a battle I need to fight and win. And the truth is, as a believer, I do have the understanding that we have already won. We are victorious in Christ. Do you understand? We have already won, and we just need to step out in faith. At that point, I had to channel my faith, and I began to speak to my body. So I'm like, we are going to overcome this. We have an assignment to do. And it wasn't easy, trust me. It wasn't easy. My body would be in pains from head to toe. And I didn't know why. I didn't have any understanding as to, okay, is this what women actually go through in pregnancy? So imagine imagine my situation where I was about to start a series or about to work on a project that centers on lifting women, encouraging women, strengthening women to be able to see pregnancy as a good thing, not as something that is associated with sicknesses and illnesses, not as something that is associated with fears and myths and worries. And here I was, sick. And in comparison to the fact that I had never experienced this before, it was a very tough time for me. If I didn't have anything planned, I might just have seen it as, oh, okay, people always say pregnancy is hard. No big deal. This is my fair share, whatever. But because those things were burning on the inside of me, I couldn't lie there. And I'm not saying that the next day I woke up and I was fine. No, it did take some time. And probably about maybe my 16th, 17th week, that was when I gradually gained my strength. And, at that point where I started to feel stronger, there was now a decision I had to make. Like, do I go on with all these things that I believed I heard, or was that a sign that I shouldn't go on? And you know, one of the worst places to be as a Christian is in the place of, did God say? Abi God did not say. And I really felt like I had to make that serious decision. Should I go on with what had been planned, or do I just back out? And nobody was going to know about it anyways. It was just between my husband and I. And though time had passed, all that I had written down, I actually planned to start shooting right from my first trimester, but that didn't happen. The only thing I know that I just couldn't let that first trimester go without making some effort in doing something. That was when I took my online certification course to become a prenatal and postnatal fitness specialist, and I'm so glad I did that. And you know, there's this idea behind pregnancy, and I won't even say just in Nigeria, maybe other countries, but once a woman gets married and she has a headache, the next comment everybody is saying is, oh, she's pregnant. Or once a woman gets married, she's being moody, she has mood swings, or she falls ill, oh, she's pregnant. And for me, it's always been like, why? Why does illness and weakness have to be associated with pregnancy? Why can't it be that once a woman gets married and she starts glowing and her face is brighter, that they're like, oh, she's pregnant? Do you understand? And those were the things that kind of plagued me and kind of bothered me, and really made me feel like I needed to say something. And that's where this whole thing stemmed from. But it's been a challenging journey. And it was just in the first phase that it really challenged my health. But beyond that, that was actually just the beginning of the challenges. You know, you see these videos today, and there's so much that goes in before it all comes out. I mean, we've had to change media partners 3 times on this journey for different reasons. It's not been easy, and also when you know, people who really, really, really love you genuinely, like, come to you because they are watching out for you, and like, they don't want you to harm yourself, or they don't want you to put yourself in danger. And they're like, don't do this, don't do this. Facing that battle in my mind has not been easy at all. I think that has been my deepest struggles. Look, it's one thing to be sick and, you know, you recover, but to constantly have that battle in the mind of, wow, I really want to go for this, you know, but people around me who care about me, they don't understand it, or they don't see it the way I do. Look, sometimes people who really and genuinely love you, they might limit you with their fears. And it might be so unintentional. But then I had to sit back and think, why did we start this in the first place? And the major thing was to debunk fears. That's the first thing. Once that became clear in my mind, in my spirit, I went all out. And I had to beat the odds that were coming against me. The truth is, nobody achieves any level of greatness without having to fight. You have to push, you have to fight. And that's what I have done throughout this pregnancy. Fighting for the assignment that needs to be done. Fighting for the purpose that I need to accomplish. And, you know, sometimes when people say some kinds of comments, it does hurt. It does hurt when they make comments like you are harming your baby, or you are putting yourself at risk, something, things like that. It really does hurt. And you know, I've even had people who say, oh, this is a good idea, but don't post it now, post it after you give birth. And then in my mind, I'm like, how does that speak of the purpose of this whole thing in the first place? Do you understand me? How does it speak for it? You know, like I come now, I finished giving birth, and then I'm posting why all the secrecy around pregnancy. and I'm talking all the fears and all, whereas I don't born finish and I'm telling you that story. Like, how would it make any sense? I'm so grateful for my husband, because if I didn't have him to push me, it would have been a lot tougher. Because there are times when even I am frustrated or I'm feeling disappointed, maybe something didn't go how I expected it to go, and because of his own words, because of his own encouragement, because of his own push, I'm still able to go for it. And that is one major lesson that I would like to actually leave you with. Is once God gives you an assignment, or once you are set on a path, it's not going to be a jolly, smooth ride. It's not going to be like that. Don't deceive yourself. Do not deceive yourself. A lot of things will come to contend with that goal. A lot of things. And some would even come from people nearest and dearest. But it's up to you to reach a level of maturity and a level of faith where you know that, okay, God has called me for this and I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm not going to look back. It does take a lot. I still struggle. I've had various reasons to be afraid on this journey. I'm not going to lie. There are times where my heart is beating really, really fast. I am physically shivering in fear, and I'm not kidding. There are times when I am so much in doubt. There are times when I am unsure and uncertain, but amidst all this, I know that courage is not the absence of fear. A courageous person is not someone who doesn't see fear. That doesn't make any sense. You know, to be courageous means you see fear, you may feel fear, but you keep going. And that is it. That is what I have done through the entire pregnancy, and regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the disappointments and the plans that didn't go how I wanted it to start and all the things, I am grateful now when I look back that I fought through it, because for me it is my testimony. It's my testimony that, oh, I wanted to start something that was going to debunk fears and myths, and I did face those things, but I overcame. I conquered, I pushed through. It means so much to me. It's my personal testimony, and nobody can ever steal that from me. If I never went on, nobody is ever going to know about it. But how would I live with knowing that there are things that needed to be done and I avoided doing them? And this actually is the very last episode of my Preggo Diaries. I'm not going off YouTube, so don't be afraid. But this is my very last episode, and I really just want to leave you with something, which is be courageous. Whatever God has inspired you to do, whatever assignment, whatever purpose for which you have been brought to this world, you have to be courageous. Fight for it. Nothing is going to get handed to you like a piece of cake. I mean, even cake, sometimes you have to beg them at parties to reach your side. But on a serious note, you have to be ready to push. Sometimes you have to be violent in your push, and I don't mean violent physically. You have to be violent to claim what is yours. You have to push through inconveniences to get an assignment done, and you have to do it with courage. No great thing or there's no great person that can tell a story of not being courageous. It is not possible. It is not possible.
Because I want to hear this sex now.
Oh, yeah. I hope you already have two sex.
No, I don't. That's why we are recording this one.
I'm going to tell you the sex.
Oh, you have to tell me. Oh.
Because I don't know what you already have.
You have to tell me. I will not even tell you what we already have.
I'm sure I'll tell you the sex. Okay, so this is the primary part. I'm so scared. Like,
My own heart has started beating faster.
because I don't know what you have before. I will write what I will write, but you don't even know what does labia mean.
That's the female.
You have to get ready.
We have two boys. I'm celebrating my birthday, don't worry.
Happy birthday. I thought you had 2 girls already.
No, we have 2 boys, so.
Girl, it's a girl, it's a girl, it's a girl, it's a girl. And thank you all so much for being a part of this journey with me. I am so grateful. There would have been no point doing this if you were not watching. If nobody was watching, I would have just been speaking to the wind. So thank you so, so much. I am super grateful. Thank you to every single woman that I've harassed with my questionnaires, my surveys, everything. Thank you for everybody that I've harassed to share my videos by force. Thank you so, so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your well wishes. I am so grateful.
It's still your super ninja, Tamara. That's me.